So it's my honor to introduce Dr. Dan Hansen, the J. Bruce Laughrey Endowed Dean of the College of Pharmacy and Allied Health Professions, to talk to us. So help me welcome Dean Dan Hansen.
Thanks, President Dunn. I don't think I can ever say this enough, and I'm not saying it to suck up, but there are few people in this world that I think more highly of than President Dunn and his leadership, and not because of what we've done under his leadership, but how we've done it. And I think that's the more important part. So that's the first time actually that I've been introduced with that title, and I needed a moment there to kind of collect my thoughts, just because I don't know that I'll ever get used to it. It's a huge honor, but I think one thing I know for sure is I'll never take it for granted. Try not to get emotional here, but my parents were very modest people. I always say we didn't have a lot, but we had everything we needed. And the only reason I got to go to college, and my brother and my sisters, is because of Pell Grants, scholarships, and school loans. And so to be here is pretty special. So I'll never take it for granted. All right. The beauty of my job is I stand on the shoulder of giants. You think about our college of pharmacy is one of the oldest colleges of pharmacy in the nation. I know I'm biased, but it's one of the best colleges of pharmacy in the nation. If you look at any metrics, student pass rate on the NAPLEX exam, job placement, average student loan debts after graduation, SDSU, I'm proud to say, is number one in a lot of those categories. I always say we're the little engine that could. We're a hidden diamond in the rough that needs to be seen. We have to do a better job of making sure that happens. But we're there because of the people that came before all of us, whether that's Gary Van Riper over there, certainly Provost Hedge when he was dean, Jane Mort after him, Bernie Heatbrink, who passed away not too long ago, who I think would be on the Mount Rushmore of pharmacy in the Midwest, if there was one. They're the reason why we're where we're at today. And I always say our job is to make sure that 20 years from now, somebody can say that same thing about the faculty and staff that we have in our college, and I think they will. So to talk a little bit about Bruce. Bruce is a Brookings native. He is probably one of the most interesting people you could ever meet. Bruce started Metaspan, which if you're not a pharmacist, probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but to put it in simple terms, you think about back when Bruce started that company, it was the first company that looked for drug interactions when you're dispensing medications. It did pricing and a whole variety of other things. I would challenge you to find a pharmacist that doesn't know what Metaspan is. And so Bruce's impact to the profession lives on today, even though he retired from pharmacy long ago. Bruce is a rock star, literally a rock star. He's inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anybody see Don Robar and the Monarchs at any time? So Bruce was one of the band members in that and was honored by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was on the Orange Bowl committee, so he got to pick the teams for the Rose Bowl or Orange Bowl. He has season tickets right next to the bench of the Orlando Magic basketball games. You'll see him on TV every once in a while. He literally is just one of the most interesting men in the world. Two things I can confidently say that Bruce loves is Nick's Hamburgers and SDSU. And the beautiful thing about the way that Bruce has his gift set up is that it's an estate gift, much like President Dunn mentioned, and what we're here to celebrate. But the other beautiful thing is he's made the decision to start investing in that now, right? So some dean later down the road will be blessed to have $200,000 every single year to put towards his or her strategic plan. Right now, I have money that I get to use to invest in our current strategic plan. I had the opportunity to meet with our faculty and staff today from 8 to 2:30 and wrap it up. And what I told them after we went through how our Imagine 2023 strategic plan wrapped up, we talked about what's coming next. And I said, we're not rich, but we're not poor. And what I mean by that is we have the opportunity to look at our strategic plan and prioritize what comes next. Prioritize where are we going to make a difference? How are we going to go from being a diamond in the rough to being known all across the nation as one of the best pharmacy schools in the world? And we do that through strategic investment, using the funds that Bruce and so many others have blessed us with as a college to make a difference. I think it's important to recognize I've had the opportunity to work with 3 different endowed gifts. Bruce, obviously, as well as Julie, who's right over there, Julie Stevens and Dale Evenson. Dale passed away a few years ago now, and they have a endowed scholar position in rural health, and then Gary and Sharon, who, knock on wood, will be able to announce their endowed scholar here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully Julie's okay sharing this story, but I'll just talk about our conversation. And it happened in Sioux Falls at All Day Cafe. It was me and Scott and Julie had reached out to say that she had a mandatory distribution on her IRA, things I don't know about yet. And ultimately, Julie asked, what does the college need today? And we had a conversation back and forth, and Julie, I think what I said was, I would love to have lunch with you every year at this time and give you a list of things that the college could use, but I would love it even more if we found a way to create an endowed position and ultimately have your and Dale's legacy live on while you're still here. And Julie took that home to Tyndall, South Dakota, and thought long and hard, and was gracious enough to honor us with an estate gift shortly after that and cash fund her position. And we have a great gentleman from Purdue University who's doing awesome research on rural health and the impact that we can have when we have providers available. So I think the reason it's important to mention that is because when the president talked about R1, he talked about things we need to do to make that happen. And so we have one of the first endowed positions that came to the university back when we only had 13, and that was from Barry and Sharon Markle. I mention them because they cash funded their gift from the beginning, and Mike Birkin and I recently had the opportunity to go to Arizona and ask them to extend that gift another 5 years. And I put together some metrics to show them what their investment has resulted in just in our college. So back when we wrote our strategic plan for Imagine 2023 in 2018, our college had secured $525,942 in grants. I'll say that again, $525,942 in grants. President Dunn got inaugurated. I always say people thought he was crazy because he said we need to double research. We didn't go all the way. We set a goal of $736,000 to accomplish by 2023, so about 150%. We tried. I am happy to say that because of the endowed positions in our college, helping set the foundation for research growth, at the end of 2023, our college had $3.2 million in research grants. That's a 508% increase over a 5-year period, right? Now, the Markles have invested in that time roughly $400,000 in our endowed position in cancer research. In return for that investment, that researcher has gotten almost $3 million in research grants. He has 4 NIH grants. Our college never had an NIH grant before Dr. Ann joined us. We now have had an R01, and we've had several R15s and R25s. And he has changed the lives of 5 PhD students, 3 postdocs, and hundreds of pharmacists who now know more about pharmacogenomics than they would have if it not for him. Those are the impacts that these gifts can have. They allow us to attract talent that we otherwise wouldn't be able to attract. They allow us to grow exponentially in ways that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. And they are trajectory changing for college in the university. So I talked a lot about endowed positions as asked, but I think it's important to emphasize that every gift is important, not just endowed positions. I talked a little bit about my past, and selfishly, anybody ever says what's the most important thing to give to right now, I always say scholarships, and I think about scholarships and that people like me wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the support of somebody back in the 90s. And I say that because I think oftentimes when we talk about what we do, and I'll say we because my wife and I give to the university, we think of it as a gift or a donation. We don't call it an investment. And I would challenge us to think about it as an investment, not because you're going to get interest or dividends or any of those types of things. Money is nice, but the return on your investments that you're making is the next generation of pharmacists, the next generation of early childhood education majors, the next generation of nurses, the next dean of the College of Pharmacy and Allied Health Professions, the next president of South Dakota State University. That's the return on the investment that you're going to get. I'll close with this. One time I saw a statistic that the average person impacts the lives of 50,000 people during their lifetime. The gifts we're talking about today, the beautiful thing about them is that it gives you an opportunity to increase that number after you've left. And I don't think you can take that for granted, because 100 years from now, somebody's going to know who you were, what you did, and how you impacted their life. And I think that's the greatest return on investment you can ever get. So thank you.